Welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all as always. And let's start by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So using your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or by focusing on your subject and everything you love about them. Very good. And start to feel your heart opening, your chest expanding, as that light or energy shines out from you. Very good. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very, very good. And now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Loving that child just for existing. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, everyone, everything, every event, every circumstance, every experience, loving it all, shining light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow and fill everyone who's on the call today. Love each one just for existing. Good job. Very good. You can open your eyes. And let's check in. How you doing? So Lisa, you're first up on my screen. How are you today?
Oh, very good. Wave your wand Wednesday. Yay.
Very good.
So I am going to read from, I'm a magnet for miracles. So unknown and unexpected good is coming my way this day. I am far more than rules and regulations, restriction and limitation. I change my consciousness and miracles occur. Within every medical establishment, there's a growing number of practitioners who are enlightened and on a spiritual pathway. I now attract these people to me wherever I am with love. My mental atmosphere of love and acceptance is a magnet for small miracles every moment of the day. Wherever I am, there is a healing atmosphere and it blesses and brings peace to all. And so it is.
Very good. Thank you. Fantastic. Yes, another good one from you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So such lovely reminders that you bring.
Thank you.
All right. And next up is Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. So I worked on the stuff we talked about yesterday. I think that's okay now. But I had like something else that was coming up. So like if I were to take a gap year, it would be like too much to handle or like too much freedom. Now I don't know if that's overwhelm, but like nothing, like no memories came up, just that concept.
All right, very good. So let's use the allowing technique, the new allowing technique to start with. So I want you to just now pretend that you've taken a gap year. Pretend you've made that decision actually, and you're going to take a gap year. And what comes to mind as you think of taking a gap year?
I just like the extra time waking up every morning and not really having a plan.
Very good. Good job. Okay, so what we're aiming for, of course, the end result is that you have a plan, right? So if you take a gap year, you could decide what you want to do with that time, what, the end goal that you want to do with that time, and then work backwards and plan so that you do have a plan. Every day you wake up, you know exactly what you're doing, and you can even do, the night before, you can make sure that you've updated the plan for whatever needs to be done the next day. So it can be very organized and very structured, right?
Yeah.
So that's the end result, but there's obviously a reference here. So let's sit with that feeling of too much time, lots of free time, and can you home in on the feeling of that?
Yeah, it's like a tightness in the chest and like a tingling in my feet.
Very good, good job. And so now notice those sensations and allow them to be there. So that tightness in your chest, allow it to be there and just notice it out of curiosity, just as a sensation. And the tingling in your feet, the same thing. Are you able to do that? Good. And what happens as you do that?
So the tingling stays, but the tightness goes away.
Very good. So notice that tingling. That's interesting. So just notice it and allow it. It's okay to feel tingling. That's okay. And what happens as you allow that tingling?
Yeah, it becomes less.
Good, good. And just keep allowing it. So because the tingling is it's just a sensation, just like if you're resting your elbow on a chair or something. And so keep reminding yourself of that, so that you're not giving meaning to it, so that it's not like, oh, I feel, and you're not thinking this consciously, it's an automatic, or intentionally rather, it's automatic, where I feel this tingling, and that means there's too much time, too much freedom, I don't know what I'm going to, and then it becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
But the tingling is just tingling, that's all. We don't need to give it any meaning. And then that's what helps bring it down. So if you could do anything, what would you like to do every day when you wake up?
Well, so when I say like I wouldn't know what to do, as in, so I know like the things that have to get done, but I don't think that's enough to fill up the time, because I can't really work in the hospital right now as a healthcare assistant. And then like work experiences all online, so I have to find that. So that's like the baseline, but then the rest of it, I don't know how I will balance like freedom with work, because I've never had to do that really.
Okay, and so what makes you, what are you concerned about? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Wasting time,
wasting time. There you go, that's it. And what if I were to tell you there's no such thing as wasting time?
That's horrific. No.
So what do you think, how do you identify when you're wasting time? What is that the criteria for wasted time? What kinds of things qualify for wasted time?
So if you're not sitting at your desk working or cleaning or doing chores, that's wasted time. So going on your phone for 5 minutes is wasting time too.
Oh, very good. Okay, so let's change that, because the truth is that we do a lot more. We're a lot more productive, a lot more creative, and we're doing a lot more when we are just sitting, feeling good. That's like literally not doing anything, because what we're doing then is sharpening the saw, so that when we come to chop down saw the tree, Steve pointed out, I was talking about sharpening a saw and then chopping down a tree, and apparently that doesn't work. So sharpening the axe, let's say. So let's say sharpening the axe, which means allowing your brain to process information, so because people who go, oh, you're wasting time, don't waste time, you should be doing something, they don't know anything about how the brain works. They don't know that you can't just keep driving the car endlessly, and any moment you're not driving the car, you're not getting to your destination, because the car needs petrol.
Yeah.
Car needs servicing or whatever, that kind of thing. And so people who don't know that will just go, well, why are you stopping? Keep going, keep driving. But they don't realize that if you do that, you're going to be forced to stop at some point, and then you're not going to be able to move. And the brain is the same. If you don't take time out, if you don't invest in so-called wasted time, your brain is not going to be able to cope. It's like it'll run out of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
So when we learn anything, whether it's new information or we're going over old information, we're revising anything that we do with the brain, it's not while we're actually doing the thing that the information is processed and stored.
It's after.
Afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually when we're sleeping, or it could be just, we're doing something recreational, then the brain is able to process that information and sort through the information and move it to long-term storage.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just keep learning, keep doing the work, if you're working all the time, in other words, you're not wasting time, your brain never gets a chance to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
number one.
Yeah.
Number two, the other thing is that, let's say they go, okay, fine, so you can take a break from working, but then you must be cleaning or doing something else productive. Again, while you're doing that, your brain may be able to process intellectual information, but your brain and body are not able to produce those feel-good chemicals, which, as we know, is the most important thing to keep your prefrontal cortex online and to give you energy and to give you enthusiasm and motivation and inspiration and help your creativity and everything. So taking structured time out, planning time out, is investing. So what I would say is make a list of all the things you love doing, whether they're so-called wasted time or not. And all the things you're interested in, and so on. And what you can do is, even if these are things that you can't physically do at the moment, YouTube, Google, research them, watch videos on them. So let's say one of the things you want to do is water skiing. I'm just making stuff up. But then you could type into Google and into YouTube, water skiing or fun water skiing or funny water skiing or how to water ski, all of those kind of things, and watch the videos, because what that does, that's not wasted time. That's very, very important investment, because as you're watching it, your brain is already starting to put together neural networks that match the activity. So whatever it is, even if you're just watching videos or reading articles on it, your brain is already starting to, as you're doing it, those neural networks are already starting to be formed. And the more you do that, the stronger, the more established, the more complicated, and comprehensive is the word I'm looking for, those networks become, so that then when you come to do the thing, those networks are already there. So it makes it much easier, quicker, more effective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Very good. And even things like watching videos on organization, how to organize, or whatever it is, whatever you think will help you with moving forward. And most of all, whatever's fun and interesting. And again, as you're doing that, you're producing feel-good chemicals, which is helping your energy, it's helping your motivation, your creativity, and your cognitive, your prefrontal cortex is online. It's helping your cognitive thinking, and you'll come up with all kinds of ideas and opportunities as well. Does that help?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Great. You're very welcome. So how do you feel now about a gap year?
Yeah, it feels exciting. Yeah. Just that, yeah, just that freedom thing.
Good, good. Yeah. So see the freedom. So what does freedom mean to you? When you think of freedom,
I
what
think,
does that mean?
yeah,
There's something there.
yeah. So when I was in India, this girl, well, like girls weren't allowed freedom as such, because whenever they got freedom, it would always end up with some sort of pregnancy or rape. So this girl actually got electrocuted because she became pregnant like before her marriage. So that's what comes up now.
Wow. Okay, that'll do it. Good
Yeah.
for me. That's intense. Yes. Okay, but that makes sense. That's going to be a huge protection thing there. Okay, so let's look at that. How about how old were you when that happened, or when you heard about it, or?
I think it was when I was 6.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. Let's change that, shall we? All right. And how did you find out about it? Were you told? Did you read it? Did you see it?
No, I was told after
After
she
it
was
happened.
buried.
After what, sorry?
After she was buried, because she died from the electrocution.
Right. Okay. And who told you about it?
I think it was my grandma or auntie.
Okay. And how did they, can you remember how they phrased it, how they told you? Did they just say, oh, you know, shame? Or did they, what sort of language or what feeling is there when they
Oh
told
no, actually, wait, so it was my mum. It was my mum, and she said, if you do such a thing, the same thing will happen to you.
Wow. Okay, there you go. That'll do it. Goodness me. All right. Okay, so that's a very, very powerful survival reference there. So we need to change that definitely. So let's see what we're aiming for. The end result is that, so we need a stepping stone that she got pregnant, but instead of the electrocution, what happened? Let's see, it could be a party. It could be she won something. It could be perhaps a surprise, a gender reveal party or something like that, or a baby shower. Can you imagine something like that?
Yeah, like
and perhaps some fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so fireworks and music and everything, and she's having a baby, and it's wonderful.
Okay.
Right. That's stepping stone. The final memory is she wasn't pregnant, and so this was just a celebration of, this was a surprise birthday party for her or something like that, also with fireworks and stuff.
Okay.
All right. And then we need to sort out the piece of your mum telling you. So what we want to do is, your mum is telling you that whatever, no matter what happens, you can always come to her. You can't get it wrong. And sweetie, if ever you find that you get pregnant, please don't be scared to come and tell me. I'm going to support you no matter what. Now, I'd rather you didn't, because I want you to be safe and healthy and happy and all that, but I don't want you to ever feel frightened to tell me. You're always safe. How does that sound?
Yeah, it's going to take some work to get that, but yeah, that
Yes.
sounds good. Thank you.
Very good. And so where did your mum, what, if you know, what experience does your mum have of that kind of thing? That it's dangerous and you'll be punished and all of that. Any references that you know of?
I think it was just because we lived in villages, like my dad's side of the family is one village and then hers was another. So it was more the case in my dad's side.
Right. Okay. And so there was fear there, of course.
Very
And
nice.
so you want to make sure that you change the generational fear of getting pregnant. And so also you want to change that link, that freedom equals getting pregnant or electrocuted or whatever, you know. So you want to break that link and have everybody free, because you can be free and not get pregnant. There are lots of, you know, of course, there are lots of people all over the world who have that freedom but don't get pregnant, don't get hurt, and all of that kind of thing. So, and I know that there's a cultural thing, so change the cultural thing as well.
Okay, so the cultural thing would become like, so you're allowed to get pregnant? Oh.
Yeah. You know, I mean, none of this is going to affect, you're not going to go and get pregnant after this, of course. So this is just about taking the fear away, that it's okay, it's safe, right?
Okay.
So change those memories, and at the same time change the cultural references. It's okay. I mean, you don't want to get pregnant at your age and without being married and all of that. That's fine. It's a preference, but you want that to be a strategic choice and not a fear. That's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to take out the fear and just go, you know what? If I wanted to, I could, but I don't want to because I have other plans.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Very good. Good job, Swasti. So now let's, and I know you're still going to change those references, but let's just check in with that now. When you think about freedom, what's there now?
Yeah, it feels better actually. So that must be it.
Very good. Good job. All right. So change those references, practice the new ones, and then start planning your gap year. Or in case you do have a gap year, you can start planning right now. You can go, right, so these, and by in order to start planning it, you can start by making a list of all the things you'd like to learn, all the things you're interested in and excited about, and then you can set an end destination. So by the end of this gap year, this is what I want to be, do, have.
Okay.
And then work backwards to set up goals for each month, or 6-month goals, quarterly goals, however you want to do it. And then at the end of each month, this is what I want to achieve, which means each week, this is what I'm going to achieve. And then a daily plan based on all of that. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
I'm excited for you. I want to take a gap year now.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that strategy. I think the structure makes this nicer for me.
Yes, absolutely. And that's understandable. I would like that too if it was me. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome, Swasti, and well done. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. And Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odile.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, since last speaking, yes, I think I've changed the memory, as in I accept, or she accepts, the girl accepts that, I come home from school and I call out her name, like, hi, Charmaine, and she neighs back.
Nice.
Down to the horse, I am here. So I hear that.
Good.
I've done that hundreds of times, and it's the same all the time.
Good.
But physically, I've ended up with this on the left-hand side here, and it's a tapping sensation in the head.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'd like to know what. And the eyes are sore. But is this tap?
And your eyes are what, sorry?
My eyes are sore.
Sore.
Sore as well, yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the tapping first. So the tapping on the left-hand side of your head. And so when you feel that tapping, you feeling it now?
I was feeling it when you were working with Swasti, but it has stopped. And like once you go away, it'll start.
Okay.
So
that's okay. So, but you can remember the feeling of it right now, right?
Yeah, it's wanting, I'm saying, allowing it, I'm loving it and whatever. And, but when I stop saying it, I get the tap again. It's like, I got it there now. It's like, sort of wants to remind me of, it's like wanting my attention or something.
Good. Okay. So I was going to say, what does it mean to you, this tapping? What is it? What do you think of when you notice the tapping? What thoughts come up or feelings?
Well, after I done the, the way I had to do the justice letter.
Yeah.
And I was very upset and very angry with my dad. And after I had finished that was when it started.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the things I actually wrote down was, you know, I hate you, Dad, for selling my pony for money. Your stupid money is more important than me. You know that I loved her with all my heart. You knew this, and yet you still betrayed me. How can I ever trust or love you ever again? I hate you with passion.
Good.
So that's her, but I have nothing there now. You know, it's just words.
That was what you, yeah, very good. So Katrina, well done. First of all, well done on that. A little thought just occurred to me, and I just want to investigate this a little bit. What about your mum with the selling of the pony? Did she know about it? Could she have stopped it? Did she have anything to do with it at all?
Well, she was the one that told me, and matter of factly, just a matter of fact, as in, look, the pony was sold, good price, and there will always be ponies in the yard. You know, you'll always have a pick of a pony. And from that day, I thought, well, I'm going to get all ponies, as in, I don't want any other pony.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yes, it was.
That's understandable. Now, how do you feel, or how did you feel? How did you feel back then, and how do you feel now about your mum and the way she told you and all of that? Any emotions there at all?
Well, it's jumping back and forward because I have worked on it, but yeah, I probably hated her too.
And I suspect that it's possible, because the tapping is on the left-hand side of your head, and left often represents female. It's very possible that tapping on the left-hand side of your head, that reminding is, don't forget to clean up that as well, about your mum, her part in it, however she contributed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I didn't bring her into it at all.
Right. So you could do a due justice letter if you want to, or if you feel you need to, or you could just change it so that she was, I would do a stepping stone where she's kind and compassionate and goes, Katrina, I am so sorry. I actually didn't know until your pony was already gone, and I was horrified about it, but we will get her back because this is not acceptable. Something like that, where she is completely on your side, she takes it seriously, and she wants to fix it. Because it's unacceptable. How does that sound? Good. I take it that's emotional, yeah?
Yeah, she needed that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So do that stepping stone, practice it 3 times, and then the final memory is that your mum is not giving you that news, she's giving you different news, and it's exciting news, and it's fun. Okay, so perhaps it's we're all going for a ride together, or you know, I've got a new something for Charmaine, whatever, you know, I don't know a lot about horses, so whatever would be fun, whatever would be exciting news for that little you coming home.
Okay, I have to work on that.
Yeah, and remember there's no limit, so it could be anything. It could be, oh, you know what, John Wayne has come to shoot a Western movie in our backyard, and they want to use you and Charmaine in the movie, or whatever. It can be anything, right? There's no limits.
Okay. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
All right, very, very good. So how do you feel now about going on from there, moving on with that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's really good. No, I will spend time on that, and that hopefully will sort the thing out here. Yeah, perfect.
So you've
Thank you as always.
Stone, you're very welcome. So you've got the stepping stone and then the final memory. Very good, Katrina, and thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Good job. All right, and Pat. Hi, Pat. I know you're driving, so don't worry if you can't
Hi.
speak. Hi, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Just coming from the doctor.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
how are you doing, or any questions or anything like that?
Well, I know I got to get off of dairy and I got to get off complete sugar. And like, oh my goodness, I really got to work hard on this. This has got to be something I've got to do. So,
Okay.
if you have any suggestions or anything, so
Yes.
something
Yes,
short.
Yes, I do. All right.
Oh.
So first of all, there's a few different references, and we may need to do this over a period of time, but for today, the first thing I would ask is, what does it mean to you, or what pops into your mind? What thoughts and feelings come up when you think of the idea of, I've got to get off dairy and sugar? What comes to mind first?
They're just comfort foods.
Comfort foods. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh. So now there's a couple of things. I know that you're going to be doing some work on the weight and all of that, and that will definitely help. In the meantime, I don't know if you've seen any of the information on the Happy Coffee. Have you seen
I
any?
did see one time, yes. I listened to one of them.
Okay. So if you'd like, and just email me later. If you would like, I can send you a sample, a 4-day trial sample. You could try it.
Really?
Because that actually, one of the things that coffee does is create satiety in the brain, so it brings down cravings for sugar and carbohydrates.
Oh, I will definitely email you quickly. Okay.
All right. So you can
as soon as I get home.
Okay, so you can give that a try and see, because I know that that's helped a lot of people with that. So I'm very, I feel very excited to share that with you. So there's that, and then of course there'll be. Oh, you're very welcome. And one of the things that, one of the ways that we address childhood memories with regards to comfort food and that, so in addition to the coffee is, and this is for any addictions and anything you want to give up that feels there's emotional drivers for it, is you go to, what is it I love about this particular thing? So let's say sugar, are there any particular sweets or sweet things that you like, that's your favorite? What's your favorite that you find very difficult to resist?
Cookies.
Cookies, very good. And what do you love about cookies particularly? Like your favorite cookies, what is it about them that you find so lovely?
I like chocolate chips, and when they're warm, they're good.
Oh, lovely. So do I. All right. So that chocolate chip, the chocolate chips when they're warm, lovely. Now, I want you to think back to your childhood. What is your favorite or earliest memory of eating chocolate chip cookies, especially if they were warm? And if you don't have, that's okay. We're just looking, just checking.
I can't think of the cookie, but I can remember those Sundays. Every Sunday we would get a hot chocolate. Like a hot Sunday at Dairy Queen after church.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So do you see the warm chocolate matches the chocolate chip cookies? Perfect. And so now what we would do is, and I'm not going to ask you to close your eyes and do this while you're driving. But when you watch this, when you watch the recording, you can do it, or you can do it later, if you remember, when you stop. What you want to do is go back to that memory. One of those memories, where you had it was Sunday and you had the hot fudge or the hot chocolate sundae, whatever that was, and notice who you were with. Everybody you were with, and I want you to home in on the connection, the love, the fun, the feeling of it, all of that. Amp that up to make it really strong, that connection, and then take the hot fudge sundae out and replace it with either something healthy or a game, a fun game or activity or something. So you're going to replace. So you're going to keep the love and the connection. And the treat, the feeling of it's a treat and fun, whatever's there, and you're going to just replace the food with something different.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Sound good?
Yes, ma'am. I will definitely.
Yay. And then you practice that until that's very well established. Because all that's happened is your brain has made a connection between those wonderful feelings of connection, love, fun, it's a treat, whatever those lovely feelings are, your brain has made a connection between that and the warm chocolate flavor and sensation. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So we're just going to unlink that and link it to something different.
Oh, okay. I would definitely do that. Whew.
Good. So that's one anyway. There will probably be, there's bound to be others as well, but that'll give you that's an example of how you can do that.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Pat. You're very welcome. And then yes, email me later with your address, and I'll get that trial off to you, that coffee off to you.
That'd be great. Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. Drive safely.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I love the way Americans say yes, ma'am. I just so lovely. Steve says it as well. And every time he says it's like, oh, that's just so cute. All right. So Chris, hi Chris. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry for coming in late. And I always intend to be with you, but and always have lovely things come up. Yeah. Grandchildren, the top of the list. Anyway, so that was good. Giving me lots of material and loads of unconditional love opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a question though today, because yesterday when you were speaking to, you were addressing Swasti's question about being unfair, her sense of things were unfair.
Right.
And you introduced your answer by saying, oh, we'll use allowing the two-step process. You described allowing as a two-step process. Can you just give me the steps 1 and 2? Because I see it all as a big idea at the minute. Lots of lovely things. I'm using it myself today. But so what is step 1 and what is step 2? And I suppose I'm going to ask what step 3 even.
Yes. So the original is actually an 8-step process that Steve has. I don't have all 8 steps. So if he wants to, but the 2 steps I was referring to in my head, it's the first step 1, allowing the feeling, allowing it. It's just a feeling. It's okay to feel this way. So whatever it is, it's okay. And it's like it's just a sensation. So if it's like a pressure in my heart or a fluttering, a fear, a nervousness, it's just a sensation in my body, like a sensation if I was leaning my elbow on the arm of a chair, the feeling of that. So that's the first thing. And as you do that already, those stress chemicals are coming down. Then for me, in my head, step 2 is the stepping back from it and observing it and seeing it as like an entity, or what kind of qualities does it have, and then asking it, what do you need, or how do you feel, checking how it, so if it had a feeling, what would that be, that kind of thing, and then allowing it to go and live somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the reason I separate it that way in my own head is just because for me, that step 1 is very often all that's needed. And then if it's still there, then step 2 is the next part.
So then from step 2, you would go to, you step back, you heard, listened to it, interacted with it in a like a peer-to-peer almost.
Yes.
And then you've given it space, and it's lovely how each of us are finding the way. What did Swasti say? I mean, I love Swasti's butterflies going off somewhere. And,
yes.
That's nice. Or just going around somewhere around the house. I like that one too. So you've done that. So what would be the third step? Then do we? No, you tell me, because my mind can go into a number of places.
That's all right. That basically is all there is to that thing, in my view. So the final thing is that it goes and lives somewhere. Oh, well, I suppose the third step, you could say...
But as a stepping stone to then, do you go straight into, so where in your childhood? I think that sounds a bit too big a step. So the next step feels, what would it be? I've gone a bit blank, but no, okay. So I've heard it, I can see it, and then it's free, unconditional love, because I freed it up and
that's it. Yes. So it goes to live somewhere. It goes to live somewhere, and you
Go
can
live.
love it unconditionally now because it's not attached to
Yeah.
you. And then whenever that feeling or thought comes up again, you can remember, oh no, it's living over there.
It's, yeah.
It's over there, it's happy, and that kind of thing. And then once you've done that, then you do still want to change the childhood memories. So then you come back and you go, okay, so now where in my childhood did I feel that feeling? Steve, I can see you want to get a word in here.
Yeah.
For everybody's information, the PDF or that little 8-step, the beginning of that little 8-step process, I will work to try to coalesce that and make that a little bit more something that we can put up on the website or disseminate that in a way so that there's a little bit more information there. I know that this is kind of organic. It is still kind of unfolding. I guess that I would just interject into that what we're trying to continue to practice with this process is the feeling of stepping back, or that feeling of separation, a little bit of separation from the feeling. So it's a reminder that you are not the feeling. You're merely experiencing the feeling. You're allowing the feeling to be there. Whereas in the past, we've had this relationship with this negative feeling or negative thought or negative sensation of wanting to push it away, reject it, deny it, run away from it. So we've had that stress state relationship with the feeling. So what we're doing by allowing is reversing that. So we're not allowing ourselves to go into the stress state, and we're in that place of just allowing it to be there. So then the rest, and of course, everything that we're doing, all of this metaphorical, imagery that we're doing, and this image, this metaphorical relationship that we're having with it is about allowing us to stay in that state of allowance. That, part of, if you can also then allow that feeling perhaps to take on the attributes of a small, scared, hurt child, or perhaps the little you, then how would you react to a small child that's feeling that way? So some other questions that you may want to pose to this feeling that's shown up, or this thought, or this sensation is, what are you feeling right now? If that little entity, if that feeling had feelings, what would it be feeling? You may want to, what one small thing could I do for you right now that would help you feel better? So again, they're just other things that you can be doing to develop that relationship of allowing.
And it fits in so nicely, doesn't it, with when Odile says, love the situation just the way it is. It's that, it captures that moment, doesn't it? Does it? It's for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe that, I think it was Ilja that put it in the chat yesterday, that, this is really, it's another way to practice unconditional love in the moment with the feeling. And, you can also be aware as you're turning into, or as you're, I'm saying turning into, as you're allowing the feeling, if the first thing that you're feeling is, I really don't want to allow this feeling right now, then you can send love, or you can allow that to be there as well. It's always, it's the practice of being aware of what's there and allowing what's there. I don't know if that helps, but good. And again, I'll see if over, perhaps over the weekend I can get something up a little bit more, so that where there's something to read about this technique, or we can flesh that out a little bit more.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Chris. Does that answer your question, Chris?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
very good. Thank you for asking that as well, for others to get clarity as well. And I just wanted to read this. I've just seen in the chat here that there's a message from Ilja to Katrina, and I just thought this was really worth reading out, because number one, in case Katrina hasn't seen it, and because I think it's a great idea, and it also to give ideas for other people who may have different things, but just give you what's possible. Ilja says, Katrina, maybe Charmaine can have a little baby pony. So now you will have two best friends to spend time with. And I love that. So that Katrina, when you come home, the news your mum has for you is that Charmaine has had a baby. So that might be a fun, a new memory for you. So thank you, Ilja, for sharing that. Dankjewel. All right. And Steve, are there any other, I haven't looked through all of them yet.
Yes, and I would like to just back up also to a couple of other comments. I'm sorry. I gotta scroll quickly. From Lisa, I'm so happy I found your videos. It changed my life forever. I refer back to them. They're so important. I feel good and have an enriching life. And Swasti followed that up with, I second that. And whenever I feel a negative, the negativity slippery slope coming on, watching these videos is a step I take. So
fantastic.
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, both of you, for sharing that, because also, you know, when we are triggered or when we're struggling with something, very often we can't think of what we're supposed to do. We think, but I don't know what to do, or I can't do the exercise, or whatever. So that is wonderful. Thank you for bringing that up. When you don't know what to do, just watch these videos again. Yeah. So thank you, both Lisa and Swasti, for that.
And there's one other quick question about the allowing technique. I'm working daily with your new process. What I noticed when I labeled my emotions like feeling betrayed or humiliated, somebody else involved, I find difficulty to step back, and it clings on to me. When I relate to the basic emotions, sadness, anger, I find it a lot easier to allow the feeling, step back, and continue the process. So
yes,
when that situation arises, when it feels like you can't take a step back from that, it's okay to just allow that feeling as well. So I've done some work with other clients, and it's like, it's okay. Just either imagine that you're allowing that to happen, or you can imagine what it might be like if it was able to take a step back from you. But either way, just notice that clinging is there, and don't put judgment on that clinging either. Just allow the clinging. So everything is about, it's okay to allow, because if there's that clinging feeling, there may be a judgment attached to that, and we're going to start to fight the clinging feeling. So see if you can just allow the clinging to happen as well.
Yes.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, because Klingons are best when they're allowed.
Now stop it with the Star Trek. Oh no.
So yes, definitely allowing, and that's the great thing about this process, this new technique, is that whatever happens, you allow that. So you can't allow the not being able to allow. You just keep going until you're able to allow something, and it seems very simplistic, but we've been amazed by the results of this, and we need to do an instructional video on this technique. We have plans to do that. We just need to find a moment to do it, right? Okay, very good. So hopefully that's answered all the questions. You're very welcome, Sylvie, very welcome. All right, so let's begin the targeting. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So using your word or phrase, or your anchor, or by focusing in on your subject and everything you love and appreciate about them. Very good. Start feeling your heart opening, that expansive feeling in your chest, and allow that light or energy to shine out from you. Very, very good. Now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good job. And now fill your subject with that light, that energy. Love your subject just for existing. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities that you love and admire about them, love and appreciate. And keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway, no matter what. Very good. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill her friend from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Lisa's friend just for existing. Whether he keeps sabotaging himself or not, love him exactly as he is, and even if he never changes, and love his financial results, whether they're successful or not. Just love it all anyway, shining this light into any darkness, loving it all, loving him exactly as he is. Very, very good. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. Very, very good. And now to Patricia. Fill Patricia with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Patricia just for existing. Very good. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Good job. Very good. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And now to all those who are off camera today, love each one just for existing. Fill them with that light and that energy. Love each one just for existing. And everyone who's watching the recording, love them too, just for existing exactly as they are, wherever they are in their lives. Very, very good. Good job. And now think of yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, whatever you'll be experiencing or feeling, love that version of you. Imagine that version of you later today being filled with this beautiful light, this energy, this love, no matter what, exactly as you are. Very good. And homing in on the fact that you are always, always doing the very best you can with what you have at the time, no matter what. And now think of a target in your life or in the world, something that triggers you, and love that. Shine this light, this energy into that target exactly as it is, without needing it to change, shining the light into the darkness, loving it exactly as it is, and feeling your power as you do that. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. And now open your heart a little more and receive the love, the light, the energy from everyone else, including me, filling you up, loving you exactly as you are, no matter what, just for existing. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And any questions or comments before we finish? You're very, very welcome. You're very welcome, everyone. And there's a message from Chris saying, since Lisa has been in my life, I feel abundant. Thank you, Lisa. Very good. I think Lisa is the abundance queen, right? Very, very good. So thank you all, and look after yourselves, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Keep practicing, of course, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye now. Lots of love.